Thanks, everyone. Hello, my name is Anna. I am a mobile UX consultant here at Google, based in Dublin. And my team is specializing in mobile UX design, and that includes apps. And this is what I would love to talk to you today about, is best practices of app UX that will help you improve conversions. And as Ruben has already mentioned before, apps remain a crucial part of user conversion journey, but then providing users with great experiences there becomes more and more challenging due to a raising bar of expectations. So in general, apps remain a very competitive space, right? Because users would already have a lot of experiences installed on their phones, like you can see on the next slide here. And they would have lots of apps, and you will be competing for user attention, for their device memory space, for user installs and their comebacks, right? And the very important thing to understand here is that you will be competing not only with the players within your industry, right? So not with just your traditional competitors, but you will be competing with any best experience that user has ever had on their mobile phone in the app, right? If they have seen a clear, welcoming experience, they will remember that. If they have seen a seamless account creation form in just one click, they will also remember that, and they will always compare and benchmark every of their next experiences with it, right? So providing your users with great app UX is no longer a luxury, it is a necessity, it is kind of a new customer expectation. So what are the key things that we need to learn here? I'm sharing with you these 4 frameworks from Google that you can use when you are developing app UX. And some of these things are specific to the platform, right? So for example, the 25 principles of mobile app design by Jenny Gove. Some of these principles are more general for device, like the framework Fast, Seamless, Personalized. It is relevant for both mobile websites and apps. And then the foundations of user experience design by Google is just the good practices of UX. And you can use all these 4 frameworks. You can find these materials also online or in the follow-up materials. But I'm going to share with you today the key things that you need to know from here that will help you improve your in-app conversions. So the first thing that I wanted to highlight is the importance of the onboarding experience in the app. And here the research says that, just in the next slide, please, that more than half of the users would actually complete the registration process on the first day of usage of the app. Okay, this research comes from the finance industry, which is quite heavy on onboardings and registrations. So people are actually quite ready to make registrations, and you only have like this one day, one chance to impress users with the welcoming onboarding experiences, possibly ask for account creation, and maybe some data sharing permissions. So, and while maybe in general you may want to have some extra welcome screens with value proposition of your app, you need to remember that user attention spans are very, very short on mobile, and they already installed your app, so they kind of know what it is about. So you use the welcome screens very, very wisely. And in case the registration process is absolutely required for the user to start using the app, then you need to manage user expectations about the process, right? So how many steps is there going to be, how much time is going to be required, what information is going to be required from the user. And here from the UX perspective come in handy different progress bars, master task lists that can be revisited later throughout the registrations, and also friendly copy that will just, say how many minutes, how many steps is that going to take. And also remember that you only ask crucial information during the registration at the onboarding. Otherwise, you just make this step skippable or remove it completely. And in case the registration is not absolutely necessary for the user to start using the app, then consider skipping the onboarding and the registration process completely, right? And this is how you will get users to the core value of the app as soon as possible, and you will give them value before asking them to commit or to share any of the information. And here, using progressive onboarding can actually become a very elegant solution, because you will still have an opportunity to showcase your app functionality and the features, but you will do this later when the user already starts using the app, right? So here's an example of a software as a service company, PDF Filler. They implemented progressive onboarding to increase customer engagement, and they improved the conversion rates to paid subscriptions by 5%, and they also decreased the amount of cancellations. Okay, the next thing that we're going to talk about is the checkout and payment experiences, right? Next thing after the onboarding. And here we are going to have the next research, right? So 76% of customers say they would likely complete the purchase from from a company which has a mobile website or an app that makes the purchase process very fast, right? Very quick. And here, of course, we all know how painful typing on mobile can be, right? Filling out all the forms, and especially sharing such sensitive information as payment, credit card info. So this is important to nail the app UX in these pain points, and that is going to help you improve conversion rates a lot. So from the UX perspective, the key recommendations here will be, first of all, providing shortcuts to payments, right? And then you can do this in some places up the funnel, like at the early stages of the checkout, or even at the product detail pages. But you can also do this outside of the app, like on this screenshot here, right? Here you can see a shortcut to top up with Google Pay in Assistant push notifications. And this is something that you can actually implement nowadays. Second is, of course, keeping the user within the app while they are making the purchase. So do not redirect them to the web UI that may look and feel a little bit foreign for the app user, and it may somehow undermine the user trust in such an important moment. And the last but not least, of course, provide users with multiple payment options and localize the selection depending on where the user is based. Here we can see the next case study from a company, SignNow. They used to have a payment within the app through the web UI, but later they redesigned the payments flow, which first of all became an in-app payments. And second, it only took users now just a couple of clicks to complete the subscription, and they increased the amount of conversions to paid subscriptions by 5 times. And the last thing that I wanted to highlight today about best practices of app UX that will help you convert is thinking about how you bring users back to the app, right? We all know that a lot of apps that are being installed nowadays are not being revisited very often, and some of them can even get deleted to free up the phone space. So how do we re-engage with users in a meaningful way? So first of all, by creating a great personalized experiences for returning users. The concept of landing page became very popular on the web. However, in the world of apps, this concept is still a little bit foreign. However, it's very important to bring users back, like through the deep links or somehow else, to a relevant place inside the app and show them a personalized experience that will speak to users in the moment. And this is especially important for returning users, because this is exactly the moment when UX matters, right? You bring users back to the app, you remind them that your app is useful, and you provide them with the relevant info. And the next way how you can engage with users in a meaningful way is through providing a meaningful push notification strategy. And every push notification has to be timely, precise, and relevant, and that would need to stand out in a variety of push notifications that users will see from other apps. So that's it for me today. Here is the most important points for me. And first of all, you need to really use the onboarding screens very wisely in order to impress the users. You only have one chance to do that. Second, you provide a robust checkout and payment experiences with multiple shortcuts and multiple payment options. And the last one, you re-engage with users, bring them back to the app through meaningful push notifications and personalized returning experiences. And I'm also sharing with you all these 4 frameworks that I mentioned in the very beginning and the industry-specific research for different apps. That's it for me today. I will also be available for the Q&A in the breakout sessions later. And now back to you, Ruben.